Good evening. It's Glenda, and it is May 13th, 2025. And of course, even if I don't, once on Blue Moon, I'll forget to welcome in Holy Spirit, Jesus, Buddha, and enlightened beings. They're here. And when I'm sitting in my chair reading my notes or preparing, brushing my teeth in the bathroom before the meeting, I'm asking Holy Spirit, y'all help me out. But I want to say it verbally. I invite in Holy Spirit, Jesus, Buddha, and the enlightened beings be here with me, guide me what to do or say, and help those here with insights and those that listen to this later to get the insights and truths that are needed to help them awaken from this delusion of thinking we're a body, a separate self, from this presence, from this open space, this open spaciousness that's luminous and lucid. That's our true nature, this vast spaciousness, spacious like the sky. That's our true nature. So welcome in, God Barbie. Welcome, God Ed. Welcome, God Jerry. Welcome, God D. Welcome, God Leon. Welcome, God Debbie that's coming in. And to those that are listening to this later on video, Jesus says, call yourself by your name, which is God. And I think I even wrote this in this week's email because I looked it up again, and I'm going to look at my notes here. Lesson 184, the name of God is my inheritance. And this lesson 153 and 154 is God's name is your own. And Jesus is not kidding, because there's only God presence here, streaming and enlivening every form, or it wouldn't be alive, so-called alive in the form. But anyway, thank you for coming out. I much appreciate it. As I sat down to write this teaching, thank goodness that my mind had gotten even a little sharper as I practiced the Course in Miracles truths and these Tibetan Dzogchen truths. Because as I naturally, what I do is, as I wake up in the morning, I look at my mind to see what my mind's thinking about. And then I'll lay there and things will come to my mind and I contemplate them. Or I'll go to Facebook and look at posts, and I'll maybe listen to a podcast while I'm lying there in bed. I'm not kidding. And what I have found when I was brushing my teeth, getting ready for this meeting, the Holy Spirit was helping me generalize these truths, main truths that seems to really help me. And one is to relax and be present in the morning when you wake up, what's going on in the mind, because Holy Spirit can guide you some truths to practice or a different way of looking at something, or just lie there and meditate. Because if you've read my email this week, I'll do this channel breathing, and I'm naturally then meditating, but I'll lay there and these experiences occur, and I'll ask Holy Spirit, help me remember how to take notes so I can explain this later. And then when this experience is finished, I'm trying to let Terry in. Let's see. She's not clicking on it. Hold on, I got to text Terry. It's not working where I can let her in. Same deal happens if you're trying to come in. You can always text or call me that you're having trouble, and I'll stop and help you. Terry, I see your name, but I cannot click on anything to let you in. So maybe exit and come back in, please. Okay. I have paper and pencil by my bed, and I take notes. And I find it's sort of like dreams. If you try to remember your dreams, you start writing and then the thread will pull and you can remember more and more. But I try to be aware of what's happening as these experiences are occurring. So then I can write them down. Or there's no way what I wrote this week, I went like, what? These things I experienced? I mean, it's like, oh gosh, really? Not, it's, it's flabbergasting because this could be one of the most transformative weeks ever for me in my practice. It's kind of like things are culminating. And I was kind of considering why these things are kind of coming to a head or culminating. What am I doing differently? What are some common things? And one of them is this breathing, the central channel breathing. Because what that does is brings your attention within the body. Because one of our main issues is we're thinking. We're up in the head. And that's why it's called heart and mind join, because you want to get in your heart or you want to get inside this body. So that's why also when I have a feeling, I no longer deny or repress the feeling. I be with the feeling. I'm with the feeling. And then I breathe in and out of it. So this is entirely different than what we're taught because we're taught as a culture, and this came to mind to me, we're taught that you don't cry. You don't show these emotions, even if you're a woman. Oh, she's emotional or he's emotional, and people tend to shut down then. And what I'm talking about is a balance, though, is where you feel your feelings, you're aware of them. You're aware of them, and you don't deny and push away and breathe in and out of them. But anyway, those are two things that are entirely different that I'm doing. And the other is this forgiveness work. As I look back at this whole start of A Course in Miracles and Tibetan Dzogchen, is this forgiveness work is where we look beyond the body to the flesh or spirit of the person that's there. Or in Dzogchen, it's seeing through or being through the form to the spirit or clear light that's there. But what I'm talking about is more fundamental, is that is this actual calling up of relationships we've had. And I can say specifically all relationships that you can think of, to bring them up and set these people in your crystal heart cave, and you be there, sit in there with them and have a conversation with them. And see, if you see this email this last week over and over and over again, I would be aware of what was happening, and Holy Spirit would be bringing images to my mind, and the images of different people, different relationships, personal, business, when I worked for others, co-workers, neighbor relationships, you name it. If you got a relationship with a person, but anyway, it'll come to mind. That's there for a reason. That is for us to log them and then sit them in the heart cave and have a conversation with them. And throughout my email, you see it, is that I say, and not just them. Okay, not just them. You can take more than one at a time, you can take them, or you can take a whole group of people. Maybe it was your office group or wherever, family group, or it can be a country group. Or in this email, I viewed a replay of, what was he called, that man's name? David Frost, who did these huge interviews with significant people in the States. And one of them that I watched Sunday was Jane Fonda, who was protesting the Vietnam War. Now, there's no accident about what all we watch on TV or what we do or where we go or who shows up. No accident. Can we think of them as spirit? But anyway, when that was playing, I had forgotten about the Vietnam War, really. And see, that whole thing I've talked to you all about months ago is this forgiveness work of all the wars we've ever been in. But back to this subject of forgiveness, I called in all victims of the Vietnam War and set them in my crystal heart cave. I am not kidding. Your heart is huger than the universe. I welcomed them in, all of them. We all sat down and I said, I forgive, it's time to forgive. It's time to let go of the grievances and the hatred you feel towards whatever happened when you were in this war, these battles, and the death that maybe happened to you, etc., or the handicapping that came due to the war, horrible post-traumatic stress syndrome, all the horrible things that happen in war, is we're back to that. Can you tell that story? If you tell that story more than 4 times, the Aborigines take you out to the edge of a cliff, hang you over the cliff by your ankle, and truly ask you, have you learned anything from this lesson? And if the person can't say they haven't learned anything, I'm not sure about this, but Terry and I were talking about, we think, I forget what Dr. Sue Morter said, I think they might ask them to leave the tribe and can think about this, because they wanted each person in the tribe to contribute to the health, the mental health and physical health of that community, and describing stories about what I learned. And the story of war is for us to turn within to this crystal heart cave, into the love that we are. Doesn't mean that we have to invite over people that were involved in the war or whatever, but you get the point. But that what's different now in the last few months is this forgiveness work that I'm doing. And then on my own relationships, bringing people in one at a time into the crystal heart cave and saying to them, we agreed at the bus stop that you and I would do certain things to each other in order to get us to awaken from this delusion faster. And then, but then when we get born into this incarnation, we forget that's what happened. We become victim and victimizer, or whatever the labels you want to put. But I thanked him, for they did a great job, and I appreciate it, because the lessons I learned from, for example, that, and I apologize again, but each of you've got your own lessons that are the core that cause the frequency of your form to emit, radiate. And due to from college, see, I never had boyfriends or anything in high school. In college then, there was date rape, and that then started, can you imagine? Then there's an unconscious fear of what to do around men or people in general. Can anything, a boss, how they're going to treat a person. So this frequency of fear, because Jesus says the opposite of love is fear. These trauma situations we've dealt with and have been there for a reason, to help us suffer enough that we turn within and go, there must be a better way. What is the lesson to learn here? Would a loving God have done this? And that would have you question, well, God wouldn't do that. So who's doing these things then? What's the real story here? So anyway, that changed my frequency. and about the relationships that I then drew, what became people that were a little more aloof to the loving relationship. But as this practice of letting go and forgiving, what happens, the heart opens. So no, regardless if these things happened 30 years ago, 40 years, or a year ago, or a month ago, we still practice this advanced forgiveness where I say to the person, I forgive you. I forgive silently. I forgive you. Please forgive me. I was doing the best I could, and I know you were doing the best you could. And if we'd known better, we would have done better. Let's forgive. Let's forgive each other. And I love you. You're spirit, you're God. I'm spirit, I'm God. I love myself. It's this crux, that is the crux of the forgiveness work we want to do over and over and over. I can't emphasize this enough. You cannot do this too much, because how else can you feel loving except by loving? And that's loving all these people that your karma brought into your world from a child to now. And why this is practical, on your deathbed, it's been said that your life passes before you, and one by one, all these images show up, and they actually do ask. I think the Holy Spirit voice may say, well, would you have done that one different? I mean, like, what would you do? Have you learned anything? What will you do different in your next incarnation? And I can verify this because when that first time that Arc of Light opened and the Great Ray started to download, all these images started appearing in my mind. It was like at my deathbed. All the images throughout my life had showed up, and I knew why. I was to forgive them. One by one, I called out to him, your spirit, all is forgiven. At that time, I was saying, your spirit, whole, pure, and innocent, all is forgiven and released. And I could say that real quick in my mind, etc. And it went fast. Okay, anyway, but that's the difference. Oh, and I'm chanting. I'm chanting these lovely sounds that vibrate within the body. These are primordial sounds that were inserted in the Great Ray tube to us. The Om, Ah, Hum. These are primordial sounds, and there's chants I'm doing. And one in particular is this Om, Ah, Hum, no, Om Mani Padme Hum Re. Now, this came to me a couple times while I was getting ready tonight, so I'm going to do this. Now, what really matters on your practice is your intention. What's your intention? And do you really get into it? Do you really feel it? Are you're got an internal motivation for it? That makes a huge difference. And now, of course, in the beginning, you might fake it while you make it, but as you practice these chants, you get more relaxed and open, and you have a purpose. The purposes of this Om Mani Padme Hum is to help all the six realms, all the sentient beings, from humans and animals to all those other four realms, wake up from the delusion that they've ever been separate from Source. That's one of our purposes in life. We're not missionaries, but in our mind, we can spread these syllables and sounds, and they reverberate through the whole universe and touch these people's hearts and minds. I don't know how it works. I just know that it works. And meantime, it's also opening up your chakras, your central channel, etc. But I want to say this chant, and why I want to say it is because I made this chant my own. Because I'd heard that Lama Surya Das change it, where it's Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, and he changed it Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Pray Us Home, Om Mani Pray Us Home. So I heard him say that, so that kind of caused me to think, oh yeah, okay. And I would change it to Oh Mommy, Pray Me Home. Oh Mommy, Pray Us Home. Well, now what I do with this chant, I'll be saying, oh, money, pay me home. Oh, money, pay me home. Oh, money, pay me home. I'll change it to say, this is pretty funny, because the six realms have these names, and I get in a cadence, a kind of a cadence. Oh, money, pay me home. Oh, money, pay me home. And then I'll go, um, oh, I hope I get in the cadence. Oh, mommy, pray. Oh, mommy, pray the gods, demigods, humans and animals, hungry ghosts and innocents in hell. Pray them all home, please. Oh, mommy, pray them home, all home, please. Mommy, pray them all home, please. I make it my own prayer. And it becomes a joyous, I can't tell you. It just is, the last time I did this, which was, I think, Saturday, just was a joyous comfort. And joy might not be the correct word, but the point was I felt satisfied. I felt like I was contributing to the awakening of all these beings. Now we're talking, I don't know if there's a trillion ants, we're animals. I don't know how many animals there are, humans or what, I forget. 3 billion, I forget. But we're talking the whole universe. So there's more than, and all the invisible realms. This reverberates through the whole deal, through the whole universe. But the thing is, my awakening became unfolded better when I was wanting to help others wake up instead of focusing on me, me, me. And I think the other week I found a sentence in the Course that says, the purpose is to help of us in A Course in Miracles is to help the whole sonship wake up. And see, that floored me, because I had not read that before or found it before. But anyway, I better get on to my talk. The subject of tonight was I had baptism by light, not water. And let's see, I realized I was not doing the breathing. And a bigger one is I realized the Son of God was bored with this pure stillness, this pure spaciousness. So he decided to create a universe. He decided to create a universe, create forms, because in that stillness and spaciousness, nothing ever changes. He's got bored. So he thought, oh, I'll make a universe, make these forms, and I'll animate them with my breath and great ray light and play with them. I'll go be inside and I can feel what their senses are feeling, their sight, their hearing, their heart, their thinking, etc. So he did. Now that's a little different than what I had come to me maybe a year ago, is that the mad idea was just a form. No, the mad idea was to create a universe that could change, meaning have duality, meaning you could live, suffer, and die. Duality, good and bad. On purpose, this is my understanding now, on purpose, the Son of God created duality. But when he was awake and knew he was spirit within this form, he was looking out with eyes of purity, just seeing these pure, beautiful trees and plants or whatever, just hearing with purity, thinking with purity. He hadn't fallen asleep yet, because when he fell asleep, then he forgot what he was and started this believing in this duality. Before, it was something could die, it could change. Well, anyway, that was a big shock to me, because it just hadn't rung true. How in the world could duality be created? But anyway, all right, so let's get to this baptism by light, not water. Due to that central channel breathing, And because as I breathe in 2 inches from below my belly, up, up, and silently call out all the chakras as I go back past them, my attention goes past them, out of my crown chakra, past the top of my head, into the sky, into the universe, out into the vast spaciousness of source. That breathing, and then it comes back down. What happens? It goes in a loop, which makes a circle, because there's a circle of purity in many ways. The heart's a circle of purity. This light and breath is moving in a circle. From the top of the head, it comes down all the chakras, circles at the root chakra, comes back up, and it circles. Other times, though, it can go through your legs and thighs and feet into the earth, depending on how you want to breathe. But the thing is, as I would practice that, in the email you see it, then up would come these images of people I was to continue to forgive. So I would do that. And then this was May 6th. What started happening was I felt this density of light come in the top of my head, and I felt it. I felt it as it moved from the top of my head. And what it was doing, it was sort of focused here, like my skin that's here. The light would come down and it was pouring. The light was pouring off the top of my head. And it was first pouring down the outside of my skin. And then I noticed the light started pouring on the inside of my skin. So this crown chakra was opening to pour this light that was dense, had a thickness to it, down my whole body. And in my email, I kind of forget how many times this would come. It would slowly come down and then go back up. And then it was on, I condensed my notes, there was a second day. Oh, the 8th, the 6th and the 8th. So I was doing the breathing, doing my meditation. This time, this density came from the top of my head, and it wasn't just going like a little strip going next to my skin, pouring next to my skin. This was a solid mass, the width of my head, then the width of my shoulders, that solid love light. I figured the light was more solid because love was getting merged in it. That's why it had this density to it, or a bit more of a thickness. Came slowly down the top of my head, just was filling my whole body down through to my toes, to my feet. And I counted, it went up and down 4 times. It made a loop 4 times. And this was what came to me as it was happening. I'm going, this is like a baptism. I mean, really, because I've seen people get dunked in the water, in a river or a water bath or whatever, where they're baptizing them. But this is actually great ray light. I felt like I was being baptized, being filled with the light. Even though that great ray light comes in and goes out of my head through this central channel, what I realize is our lifetime, every moment has like a billion, every second's got like a billion mind moments. We have so many automatic knee-jerk judgments that have been stored in the cells, the body, the heart, the mind. This is a constant cleaning to unveil your true nature, which is this pure, vast spaciousness. It can be called clear light, but that's kind of optical. It's spaciousness. But anyway, and I realized I was having awakened awareness. And that's different from ordinary awareness. Ordinary awareness just looks out and sees objects. Awakened awareness looks out and sees an integration of form and emptiness, sees an integration of light with form, or spirit with form, and starts to recognize itself. Where did I have? And on page 6, I quote Jesus. I looked up awareness for what Jesus says, because This awakened awareness is a big deal because you become aware of your nature, of your true nature. Oh, what page does it say is on? Page 8, it says is Jesus' quotes. All right, page 8. All right, here we go. This says, well, this is called the restoration of the integrity of the mind. Well, that didn't have the word awareness. Here we go. Miracles reawaken the awareness that the spirit, not the body, is the altar of truth. The miracle is an expression of an inner awareness of Christ and the acceptance of his atonement. Since the miracle aims at restoring the awareness of reality, it would not be useful if it were bound by laws that govern the error. So see, the whole Course of Miracles and Dzogchen is to get you to wake up, to have this awareness awaken, to recognize your true nature. And without meditation, that will be a hard thing to do. It could take you many more years. Because meditation allows you to go from outside looking of objects to turn inwardly to see this spaciousness of sky that's within the mind, and to be aware when these thoughts and emotions are coming, and you let them come and go, but you're aware of this spaciousness. You become aware of thought. Awareness of thought is meditation. Now that kind of freaked me out because I thought, what? Just you being aware that you are damn thinking is powerful because you're not asleep anymore. You're aware you're thinking that stuff. And you could choose to either think it or choose again. But awareness of thought is meditation. Awareness of seeing something is meditation. These are these sense gates. Awareness of hearing is meditation. That's what meditation does. It frees you from this labeling, sorting, and judging of all these senses that cause you then to go off into chains of discursive thinking. Then you cling and are averse to things, etc. Right? So you're getting awakened awareness. I realize this is what's happening with me. And then on May 8th, this Timo was reading from this Longchenpa book, and in it, Longchenpa says, rest naturally in space. And I recognized that's what I was doing. Because see, because you can be aware of what your mind and you are doing, I was aware, I was where I was resting in space. Oh man. And that was like a big light bulb deal. Because the journey is to be able to rest with presence, rest with God, rest with presence, rest with the clear light, rest with your true nature, rest in space with space. Oh, I'm just going to go down my list here. Then on the 7th, I was, for some wild reason, I saw a Facebook post that showed a face, and the person had gone to their face and they had pulled off their face, and their face was sitting in their hand. And you could see behind the face to these innards of stuff. So I'd seen that post. So anyway, evidently when I was meditating, what happened is Holy Spirit showed me a zipper, put a zipper from my head down to my feet, a zipper. And so I took my hand and I unzipped it. I unzipped it. And when I unzipped it, that allowed the body to open up, and I saw the innards. Because we're just a meat suit. You're just a costume, just an appendage, a puppet. Just open it up and see that you're not a body. But then I took my hand to my face and I took my mask off. Now that's powerful, because see, this one of the main things that whole Buddhism and Dzogchen is, you're not a separate self. You're not a body. And that's Jesus's Course in Miracles. But how do you let go of that? Only by meditating on truths or stop doing short moments repeated many times of thinking this way. Oh, I'm not my mask. I'm not my roles. I'm not a female. I'm not a body. I'm not this. I'm spirit. The clear light of this vast space that's here is me. I'm inner being with this vast space. Okay, let's see. What else was here? Oh, I'm going to do the part of I was aware I wasn't breathing. Now, this occurred when I was meditating, and let's see what I have to read my notes here. So when it gets quiet, see what page was this on? Oh, I didn't make a note. It got really, it gets quiet. Because in the absolute realm, there's nothing going on. And then, oh, this absolute nature you are is no thing, yet it's everything. Because it's everywhere. God's spacious lucidity is everywhere. But so I'm meditating, and it was so quiet. My awareness was aware that I wasn't doing the breathing. The breathing was going all by itself, in and out. And then it was following the great ray light. It was synchronized with it. Well, that was a shakaru to me, because I've heard this Lama Surya say things like, let Buddha breathe through you. Well, yeah, right. I didn't know what that meant. Well, when you lean back and relax and just be, then you become aware of this, of who's doing what around here. Whose thoughts are these? You become aware these aren't your thoughts. But anyway, that was a shockaroo. Okay, then on May 8th and 11th, now see, I forgot to repeat. When in these meditations, when I was having awakened awareness or baptism by light and not water, different times my hands would be on my lap, palms up, and like my right hand would start turning in a circular motion. Come off the leg and just be, going like this, but my whole hand and arm in a circular motion. And I just let it be. I just let it do whatever it's going to do. But various times throughout this email, you'll see, then my left hand and arm would start rotating, turning spherically or circular, just turning all on its own. And as I'm laying flat in the bed, other times I'm laying flat in the bed, is I would get a jolt of like electricity in like my right foot, and it would jump. So then my body would jump, and it'd do that 2 or 3 times. And then this, I forget what is said here, which day was it, 8th and 11th, is this happened to me back in 2018. When the great ray light comes in, it starts to hit the darkness that's been gunked up and clogged up in our heart, our mind, and our body. And when that light hits this, it vibrates it and you jump. Well, my legs and my feet and my thighs were going up and down off the bed. My torso didn't, but my legs were. This is what happened in that 2018 in Sedona, but then happened every day for 2 or 3 years because there was so much darkness. The light had plenty of stuff to clean up. But anyway, this jumping and carrying on hadn't happened very much in the last few years. But I believe this central channel breathing is a key to quickening your awakening. Because when you're breathing this way and taking your attention to these chakras, they become less rigid, like that sponge by your kitchen sink. When it's dried out, it's hard, can't hardly flex it. Put a little water on it, it gets a little more flexible. Then you squeeze it, it gets a little more flexible. Well, that's what happened when you put your attention on these chakras as you silently take your breath up the channel and back down the channel. You're bringing your attention and the breath to these chakras. They start to, and then you squeeze them. Remember, you squeeze your root chakra, that sphincter muscle, squeeze your heart, squeeze your throat, squeeze your third eye. That's squeezing it like you're squeezing that sponge. You want these things opened up, flexible, moving. I digress. So what was I thinking here? So this light is central channel breathing, and I've gotten more open, letting go, letting be, breathing, smiling, relaxing. My body's jumping. So my body stops jumping, but then something happened that hasn't happened much in the last few years. That happened all the time for 2 or 3 years. Is the head, I'll be laying flat in the bed, the head is in the center. I'm not doing squat. All I'm doing is meditating, and I may be practicing on those images, or I could even be chanting. Regardless, I don't know. But the thing is, my head will start to move slowly to the right shoulder. Then all on its own, I'm going to go a little faster. It moves slowly back to center. All on its own, it goes over here to the left. Then it comes back. It does it all on its own, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I found in A Course in Miracles what Jesus says. I had to, if this hadn't happened to me, I would not know this is what he meant. But it will be helpful for you, because as you do your forgiveness work, you're cleaning up the past. I'm trying to find the quote here. It's with where my head's moving back and forth. So where would but I didn't write the page that was on. Okay, I know you're here. Here it is. Here it is. This is chapter 18, section 3, paragraph 8. You and your brother are coming home together. Yeah, see, you were walking each other home. Yay. We're bringing each other home. After a long and meaningless journey that you undertook apart that led nowhere. You have found your brother, and you will light each other's way. And from this light will the great rays extend back into darkness and forward unto God, to shine away the past and so make room for his eternal presence, in which everything is radiant in the light. So what the deal is, when this is the great ray coming in, as it extends back into darkness, that's when my head goes to the left. The great ray is going back into my past, to the darkness, and healing things. Then when it comes back to center and then goes to the right, it's going unto God, unto the God, meaning opening up to God's presence on the right. So there is method behind what Jesus is doing in A Course in Miracles. Okay, so healing, I want to get across, healing continues to happen. Never, ever, ever think it's done. It's just and even if we heal the past, we got each day's activities where we're out visiting with people, or talking on the phone, watching PV on TV, or etc., and being aware, what is the ego mind thinking and saying, and what am I agreeing to? What do I think about those people? But that alignment of that great ray, what it's also doing, it's aligning, attuning my body to this frequency, a higher frequency of all these chakras that are getting working and lighting up. And it's aligning my body into this vertical axis, which is the direct ladder, the ascension. why you can rest at home easier and easier. Okay, that was to cover those. Unzipping, awaken awareness, right? Now we need page 2. Oh, chakras. Then when I looked at my body, see, these chakras have been dried up, unused, no light in them, kind of flat. As they get squeezed, they start to open. And I looked inside my body, and the chakras were 3D. They now had depth to them. See, that because, they're being squeezed, it's a wheel, but this wheel has a depth to it because it's flexing and it's turning. All types of relationships were brought into the crystal heart cave. That's so powerful. Yeah. Oh, and in this email, I talk about I sit myself down in the heart cave, excuse me, or just talk to myself. I'll tell my heart, I love you. Thank you for all this work you've done. You've done the best you could. But now let's just turn it over. Let's let go and hear from this divine side, right? Thank you, mind, for what you've done. I love you. I love you. I love you, ego. I love you, body. I love you. Did my feet, thank you for helping me walk around, keeping me straight. My spine, thank you. Even though this is an illusion, in the illusion, we believe we're a body, but in the awakening, we become the embodiment of Christ, Buddha, God, walking around on this earth. But I am grateful to this form for how it's doing. It's trying to keep up. It's trying to maintain itself and work. And I think the stuff in my house, my car, all of those things are energy. Energy cannot be lost. They're all forms of energy. Sometimes they're more compressed, tight than others, but they're all, anything that's in your realm, thank it for being there. You appreciate it. I love you. I love you. Please forgive me if I did anything wrong or hurt your feelings. I would have done better if I'd known any better. Oh, and that reminds me, there's a whole forgiveness thing that is worth me reading. I got so many pages here. Let's see if I can find it. It's a forgiveness, prayer for forgiveness. This was a prayer Lama Surya Das posted May 8th on his Facebook. And I believe he authored this prayer. Now, this is a holy man that's been practicing 40, 50 years. Prayer for forgiveness. If I've harmed anyone in any way, either knowingly or unknowingly, through my own confusion, I ask their forgiveness. If anyone has harmed me in any way, either knowingly or unknowingly, through their own confusion, I forgive them. And if there is any situation I am not yet ready to forgive, I forgive myself for that. For all the ways that I harm myself, negate, doubt, belittle myself, judge, or be unkind to myself, through my own confusion, I forgive myself. Whoa, so I love it that I've extended forgiveness into all this duality because we believe we're in this duality. So we believe we've done these things to harm people, or we've repressed things that we don't want to remember we did. But Holy Spirit, when you're strong enough, will bring up all these things. And the purpose is not to beat yourself up, just to gently forgive yourself. And think of the people, ask those people involved or events, please forgive me. If I'd known better, I would have done better. You are spirit. I love you. You're God. I love you, love you, love you. And think of them that way. Let's see. Oh, the David Frost interview, I told you that. Oh, besides the Vietnam, I'm not kidding you. I sat in my chair and Holy Spirit started bringing up all the wars, the names of them. And I put all the soldiers, all the victims of all the wars in the heart cave and held them and embraced them. I love you. Your love. I love you. Please forgive. Please let go so you can live a healthier life, a happier life. And please forgive me on some of those wars, the Crusades, the Mongolians, the Vikings, the Spanish-American War, the Civil War, the American Revolution. Who knows what parts I played in any of those? Please forgive me what I did. Now, the bigger picture is everybody involved was at the bus stop and agreed to it, what lesson they were going to learn. But not all of us can remember that we're to learn a lesson in this lifetime. We simply think we're just here to, go to school, get a job, get married, have some children, retire, pass, get ill, pass away. No, no, no. We're to awaken and remember we're spirit. We're love. We're this divine love, not this dualistic love. Okay. Oh, good. I'm kind of right on time. So I'm gonna, let's see if I thought my page 9, forgiveness definition, page 9. Let's see what that was. I made some notes. Let's see what it was. Forgiveness thus does what fear has produced, returning the mind to the awareness of God. See that awareness word again? That's a big deal. You're in this awakening. What is aware that you're awake? What's aware that you know the clear light of spirit's right there? It's this awakened awareness, this higher nature. Awareness is big. Anyway, for this reason, forgiveness can truly be called salvation. It is the means by which illusions disappear. Yes, that's Jesus, workbook 46. Oh, there was something on the quotes of Jesus that he's quoting the whole meditation. And I found it again. I want to read this. This in workbook 31. Oh, this reminded me about inner world. So in this awakening, the first thing we're learning to do is to turn from this outside stuff of thinking we're going to be happy because something outside us is going to make us happy, fulfill us. Then we turn within, and if we're not careful, we attach to inner happiness or blissy hot tub or some emotion on the inside. See, that's just an inside emotion. What the awakening is for this feeling, this awareness of this resting ability, this calm abiding, resting with presence. But of course, you can feel joyous, but it's not this high and low joyous or big happy, unhappy. I'm not explaining that real well, but here's workbook 31. Jesus says, as you survey your inner world, merely let whatever thoughts cross your mind come into your awareness, each to be considered for a moment and then replaced by the next. Try not to establish any kind of hierarchy among them. Watch them come and go as dispassionately as possible. Do not dwell on anyone in particular, but try to let the stream move on evenly and calmly without any special investment on your part. As you sit and quietly watch your thoughts, repeat today's idea to yourself as often as you can as you care to, but with no sense of hurry. Workbook lesson 31. Well, what the hey? That's Dzogchen. That's meditation. Turn within and merely let whatever thoughts cross your mind come into your awareness, each to be considered for a moment and then replaced by the next. Try not to establish any hierarchy. That means labeling them. But this one's better than that one. Watch them come and go as dispassionately as possible. Do not dwell on anyone in particular, because see, dwelling is clinging. That is in workbook 31. I'm not kidding. That's the main thing Dzogchen and I'm trying to teach is if we don't meditate, we don't learn the nature of mind, we don't learn to let thoughts and feelings and perceptions come and go, then when you're off the cushion, you fall prey to the six senses when you have a sight or a hearing or a thought, right? But because you practice on the cushion, you might pause a second or two before you grab onto that thought or push it away. It's just so beautiful. It is meditation. I never knew that. Oh, wow. It's just beautiful. I'm going to open the floor to any questions or comments before I close the recording. So let's look at the screen and think of our brothers and sisters as what they truly are. I'm going to be quiet. Thank you, thank you, thank you for coming out this evening. I so appreciate it. Thank you, thank you. Okay, let's see if I can pause this recording.